This is Lee with 82 Gaming 12 here on YouTube channel Sons of Liberty 75. Back with another video over the Battle of Monmouth. SPI magazine. Colonies take the offensive, June the 28th, 1778. Known as the longest battle in the American Revolution. And what we have here is we have the colors of what was for a period of time thought to be a captured British flag. Monckton's regimental colors, I guess, but it's been debated, and I guess they recognize that this is actually the colors used by a Pennsylvania regiment or battalion during the battle. So, of course, the Union Jack there that got cut off by the printer, that was used on many flags by the colonials. All right, let's jump right in here. One thing is, the last video I discussed the possibility that there's not enough British artillery, and sure enough, there's there should be. Clinton had at his disposal, I think he had like 2 3-pounders, 12 6-pounders, and 2 12-pounders. And the only thing that was included in the scenario was the 3-pounders, which was 1 counter. And of course, there's more available for, I guess, the overall battle, if you play the whole thing. But for some reason, the designers only gave the British 1 counter of artillery, which is not enough. So I'm bringing in 3 batteries, which is 6 guns total, that are coming in as reinforcements. And these are not included in the scenario, but I'm including it because one thing is the British would have had more than just the 3-pounders. They would have brought in some of the 6. Now, maybe not the 12-pounders, but they definitely would have. If they're going to counterattack, they're going to bring some more artillery than just 2 guns. And we have Gray's brigade that is part of Cornwallis's division, and they're not included for some reason, which puts the British Army at a numerical disadvantage when, in reality, the numbers were about even. So we know that the colonials numbered around almost 6,000 or 6,000 plus, and the British would have had close to that, 5, 6, 5, 5.5, whatever. But I counted up, and the British only had 3,000 to the over 4,000, almost 4,500. So there's a big disadvantage there that shouldn't be. So if I bring in Gray's battalion, which numbers about 1,500 men, and then bring in this artillery with him, then that should even up what should be going on. And it's just that it's easy to see that the British are spread thin, and they would be in danger of being overwhelmed, even though they have some very strong units. When I added it up, even with the sevens and the eights that they have mixed in here, it's still, they only had there's only 3,000 men available. So I'm bringing in Gray's brigade, and so that's five regiments. They're coming in, plus 3 batteries, 6 guns. So they'll be coming in on the next British activation. So let's put them over here to the side for now. They're coming down from the Colt's Neck there. So this is the 11:20 turn, and really those should have been brought in a lot sooner. But I just kind of trusted that the designer of the game had the right amount of forces on each side. It's like I don't know. I don't want to be too critical on this. I really like the system. It's just the scenario is really not historic, I'll put it that way, of the numbers and placement of the troops and so forth, and even the time period. It starts at what I say, 10:30 or something, 10:20. Yeah. Well, it's got to start much earlier than that. The turn track, it's got to start much earlier than that. So, all right, let's get started. We're on the 11:20 turn. Colonials have the activation. Put that over there for now. They really should have maybe given you like counters for activated, not activated, and so forth, because that way you would know. There's the game turn marker right there. Okay. And I should be keeping track of losses and so forth, but I can count them up at the end, I guess. So here we go. Command phase. So we've got to roll for Lee to find out how many he's going to have, his activation points. Okay, 3 again is the number that was rolled. So he has 2 activation. So he can only activate 2. So he doesn't really need to activate Scott. So he'll activate Lafayette, and Maxwell. Those are the two he's going to activate. Those are within, plus he can activate these units that he's stacked with. And Wayne can activate on his own. So this unit over here, these units over here are not activated. So my way of dealing with that is just marking out of command. It just means they don't have an activation. They're still in command of these units. He's still in command of the units. He's just not activated. So that's where it would be nice to have maybe a counter that, some counters that signify that unit's not activated. And I could probably dig out a game that has, I could also just use this green, or I'll tell you what, I'll use this black block on top of him. So I know that he's not activated. And also Scott's not activated either. So, well, I've got these other, here I got these. I can use these. These are actually from a different game, I think. I don't know what game these are from. Because they're much bigger. So he's not activated, and then Scott's not activated. So that's what that's for. Now, so Wayne can activate all these units here. This artillery unit can be activated by Wayne because it's still within his range. Now Scott, the unit underneath, can't be. So Lee is using all of his activation to activate Lafayette and Maxwell. But he can still activate the crew there, and that unit there that he's stacked with. Okay. So now the British, we have the rally phase for the non-phasing player. So let's see what we've got here. We've got, they can't rally if they're in a minimum fire zone. And that would also include like the artillery. See, if they're within 2 hexes of these artillery units, they wouldn't be able to rally. But if we look here, we've got Clinton. Okay, he's got a range of 5, so he can rally up to 6 units that are within 5 hexes. 2, 3, 4. So he can rally this unit here. And he can rally this unit here that he's stacked with. Okay, these units, they're routed, so he's got to be stacked with those. Okay, and then over here we got Los. He can rally these routed units, the units here that are routed. Okay, they can turn back around, but they're in column now. They rallied to column. Okay. This unit here can't rally. He's in a minimum fire zone. And then over here where Clinton's at, Cornwallis, he's also in a enemy zone of control, but enemy minimum fire zone, not zone of control, but fire zone. So he's not able to rally. So that means that this unit back here has to route 4 hexes. So it's not able to go 4 hexes. 1, 2. So it's going to have to lose a strength point. So we'll take it out of the... well, I guess they both have to take a strength point. Both the units, just because they're stacked. I think they've actually got to, let's see, I don't know if they might be able to maintain their stacking. That might be another game. I've got too many games I'm trying to play. Okay, so a stack must retreat together. Units of different types or formations that end up stacked together must unstack in the following march phase. So they would have to unstack. And they would both end up losing a strength point. So they could end up losing those guns. But the thing is, wait a minute, I don't think... okay, well, that unit was unlimbered, but yeah, okay. I don't know what I was trying to think here. What's going on? All right, so that takes care of the non-phasing rally step. So now we go to the march phase. So so this artillery unit wants to unlimber right there where they're at. And then dealing with Maxwell, his units are going to come out of column. They can use their free formation change to go into line. Okay. Okay, so these units are going to go, okay, so they go 1, and then up that slope is 2, 3. Okay, so they move to there. This unit is going to turn That's 1, 2, 3, as far as he can go. This unit here, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, right there. And let's see. Lafayette is going to move off and go to this unit here. This routing. Lee's going to move here to that routed unit. Can't move any of these guys that are Scots. But then we can move over here to where Wayne is. Of course, we've got Dickinson. So this unit here is going to move into these woods. Now, normally they would be disordered, but colonials can move into the woods without being disordered. So it's going to cost all of his strength or movement. And then Dickinson just, with this unit, moves to here and then turns. And this unit does the same thing. So this unit here is going to come attack this unit in its flank. So he comes out 1, then turns like so. 2, 3, right there. And this unit's going to turn and come into with this unit. This unit here is going to turn 1, move there 2, 3, turn back. This unit do the same thing, 1, 2, 3. And this unit here will turn, let's see. No, he'll have to stay where he's at. Okay. All right, so that's all of the movement. So then we go to the artillery fire phase. Let's see who's going to go. Who's going to go first? It's 5. That means the British will get to fire first. But their only artillery they have on the board at the time is right there. Let's see, where is it? No, it's back here, way back here routing away right here. So it's not gonna be able to do anything. So it'll just be the Colonials. And the first artillery fire we have is going to be here on the British left, Colonial right. This artillery unit is firing at these dragoons, light dragoons, at a range of 2. That's like canister fire. So minimum fire range, strength of 2. Okay. Artillery against dragoon units. Okay. Well, that's what I'm looking for. Ooh. I got a 6. Morale, rolled a 3. Okay, so with a 6, strength of 2, it's a D/R. Make a morale check and apply the appropriate results. So they're either going to be disordered or routed. I rolled a 3, and they have a 4 morale, so they pass that, but they become disordered. Okay. All right, so now we go to the next one. It's going to be over here. Battery number 3, firing at these disordered units. All right. That's the minimum fire zone, and they're firing at light infantry. So that's going to be class number number 3. Oh, they rolled a 1. Okay, that's going to be a miss. No effect. Wow. Right on top of them, no effect. Okay, then we go to that unit. That 2-pounder. And they have to fire separate. The other thing is, I found information about what do you do when you have leaders. If you have leaders, then what you do is if there is any effect other than no effect, then you're going to roll. And if you get a 1, then the leader is a casualty and you flip them over. So roll a 1 instead of a 6. All right, so here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to fire here at these guys. Those guys are light. I think they're better off firing over here, but we'll go ahead, light infantry. So that's going to be a class 3. That's British in open order. Rolled a 2, and the range is medium. No effect. Okay. Move down here. They're going to fire there at this battalion, regiment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, I think, is long. Yeah, that's long maximum range. So it's going to be up there. They rolled a 2, which I don't think is going to do anything. Well, let's see. Yeah. Well, that's in line. So, yeah, that doesn't do anything. Okay, next one. It's going to fire at the same target. A 1's not going to do anything. So now we roll for infantry fire. Again, excuse me, we get an odd result, which means that the British get to fire first. So they're going to start over here. So we've got this disordered unit. Rangers. And they're going to fire at this stack. Okay, so that's Colonials. They've got a strength of 8, but they're disordered. Ooh. A 6 and a 6. Okay, so a 6 against line, that's going to be a disorder. Then we roll for the leader. Got a 4, so no casualty on the leader. Okay, and so they're going to fire back. They've got a strength of 5. Okay, I got rolled a 5. So morale check. They rolled a 4, which they failed. And so, well, hold on. So, yeah, morale check. So they're going to rout. There they went. Actually, I get to add, I believe I get to add that leader. No, I guess not. Guess it's just, well, that's fire combat, not shock, anyways. Okay. So they don't have to move in there. That's fire combat. Okay, so next, they don't have anybody. They already fired. They've got to fire out of their front hexes. So that unit is going to fire at those guns. They're disordered, and they've got a 6. I got a 5. No effect. Okay. Colonials got this unit here. Only a strength of 2. They're going to fire at this cavalry unit. That'd be a morale check. They rolled a 4, but they have only a 2 because of the being disordered. So they're going to rout. Oops. So they're going to route through these guys. Right here, 1, 2, 3. Turn them. And so these guys here become disordered. And no, okay. Next, don't have anybody to fire at there, but well, this guy here does. This guy here can fire here at this routed unit. He's got a strength of 4, but it's his long range. 1 is no effect. So then we go here. These guys are disordered. Got a strength of 3. It's a morale check. No, it's not. It's nothing. All right, so we had no effect from this disordered unit here firing here. And of course, we've got this disordered unit here that can fire to here. A strength of 4. Oops. Those guys are actually in column. What are these guys in? Oh, they're in column too. But being disordered, they're going to still be on the same. So I can fire from here to here, maximum range. All right, I got a 3. That's it's going to be a no effect. So that's going to be all. Well, let's see. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to be all for the British. The rest of this is just going to be the colonials firing. Which will only be 1 unit left, I guess. Well, this unit here has a strength of 3. Okay. So they can fire. We got a 5. That'd be a morale check. They have a, let's see, got a loss. So that's a 4. So they have a morale of 2, but they rolled a 1, so they don't rout. Okay, now this unit here is in the flank. So they're going to have a strength of 5. Firing minimum, let's see. Well, minimum range. And it's enfilade. So with a strength of 5. All right. Yeah. Okay, they rolled a 2. Okay, which is a morale check. And they failed their morale check. They rolled a 6, which is an automatic fail. So they become routed. So let's flip them around. Flip them both to column side. 1, 2, 3, and they're routed. So that's all of the colonial turn. So we go to the command phase for the British units. And we've got Clinton. So he can put Erskine in activate. Can activate. Let's see, I think the British, I don't know if they actually have to activate. They've got a little different command structure. Well, he's part of their staff. So it doesn't really say anything about putting, them into activation, that you have to activate. But let's say he does. So he uses one of his activations. He has 6 to put Erskine into to activate him. And then Los, he activates him, so that he's used 2, so he's got 4 left. And so of course, he can activate the unit he's stacked with. Okay, so that's 2 there, 3, 4. These you don't have to worry about, 4. And of course, these don't have to be worried about either. And so really, Cornwallis can activate the units over here. So they don't have any concern. Now, the other thing is they've got these reinforcements that are coming in. And remember, these are units that should be included. I don't understand why. Maybe they were going to be brought in at a later time. I'd have to look at for the overall battle. Yeah. So they've got Gray coming in not until they turn 8, which would be like 12:40. Maybe that's a better time for him to come in. And he's coming in with battery B, battery 1C, and then 2C. batteries are those anyways? They're 6-pounders. Let's see, battery B. Okay. Those three. Yeah. Okay. But not coming in until turn 8. But see, I think that's too late. I'm bringing them in this turn. So, let's see here what it says about. Says anything about reinforcements coming in. Well, they can come in with tactical, grand tactical movement. And they're going to come in with grand tactical. All right, so we've got the all the orders taken care of, command. Now we have to take a look at the rally phase for the non-phasing player, which is going to be the colonials. Take this off now. This is just to signify who didn't have activation. So Lee only has 2 activation points this turn. So he's going to rally. Well, he doesn't have to use it on the units he's stacked with. So he automatically rallies that unit there. And then he uses his other 2 points to get these 2 units out of being disordered. Okay. Lafayette back here is going to rally this unit that he's stacked with. So this unit turns around. And then he's got 1 activation that he can rally this unit here. Well, the thing is, I think if they're just within Well, just as a brigade leader may rally the units of his brigade that are within his command radius. So I guess he can just rally all of these units that are within his command radius, which this guy is and this guy is. And then the unit down here is, okay, that's Lafayette's, but it's out of range. And then Maxwell can rally this unit that he's stacked with. So all right. Okay, so in clear terrain, we can have up to 16 strength points stacked. So these two, let's see. Okay, so those two regiments are going to come in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right like so. And then this unit here, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of course, they're using Grand Tactical. They can keep going. 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this one here, I think you can only have, let's see here. Stacking wise, I can stack all of this artillery together with this last regiment. Okay, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7. So they go to there. And Gray's going to be here. Now he's still within range. 1, 2, 3. So, all right, now that frees up these two guys to do something else. So this guy's going to turn to start like that. And he's going to go yeah, he can do that. That stream. Oh, no, it's +2. So we can't. He's going to have to leave that up to someone else. This unit here is going to start like that. So this guy was turned here. Okay, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Okay. And then this guy here, one, two, three, four. He goes to there. And this light independent unit, is going to move. It's going to move. It's going to turn. Start like that. 1, 2. Right there. Clinton is going to move over to here. And then Erskine is going to come back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Los is going to move to there. We're going to move here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 right there. And then 1, 2 right there to shield these guys. Those guys are routing. Those guys are routing. This guy that's disordered is going to stay where he's at. This unit here is going to move up. 2 right there. And then this unit, Cornwallis, is going to move to there. This unit here is going to move up to right here. Okay. Okay. So now we go to the artillery fire phase. And it's going to be the Colonials. But I don't think, let's see. Yeah, the British don't have any artillery that's unlimbered. So it's all going to be the Colonials firing their artillery. So right here, we've got that unit. They're going to fire at this unit here. 1, 2, 3. So Range of 3 is minimum. No, it's medium. And they have a strength of 2. Firing at... Oh. Guess I didn't change these guys back to line. They would have changed their formation to line. Okay. All right. 4. Artillery. It's going to be morale check. They rolled a 4. So they've taken 1 loss. All right, so they passed. Now we move over to here. This you're just going to fire here. Strength of 2. Rolled a 1. That's going to be, let's see. Here. It's going to be a morale check. They rolled a 2, so they passed. We go back down here. I'm going to fire at that unit. Okay, 2. Just minimum fire range. It's going to be a morale check. They rolled a 4, so they passed. Okay. Oh no, this battery here will fire at this unit. He's 3 hexes away. That's medium range. Rolled a 5. Okay. That's going to be a disorder. Oh, wait a minute. He's firing at light troops. Yeah, that's still going to be a disorder. Okay, then this unit, it's going to fire right here where Clinton's at. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, he's in column. Okay, 5 is maximum range. Okay. Ooh, rolled a 6. So that's going to be a D/R. So they passed. So they become disordered, and we have to roll for Clinton. No. They are disordered, though. All right, so now we need to roll for who fires first infantry-wise. And it's going to be the Colonials. It's even. So we'll just start over here. And we've got, well, we could start here with this Maxwell 2nd to New Jersey here. firing here at this independent unit. 2nd Battalion. Grenadiers. Okay, so it's a maximum range. And Grenadiers, it's in line. A 1, no effect. Okay. Okay, so now we have this unit here firing here. Strength of 6. Okay. Strength of 6. Target is in line. Rolled a 2. That's a morale check. And they rolled a 2. And their morale is 2. So they passed. Okay, so now they get to fire. They're going to fire right here at this unit. And they have a strength of 5. They rolled a 3. That'll be a morale check. And they rolled a 5. And they pass. Okay. And then this unit here is going to fire at where Maxwell's at. Ooh. Rolled a 6. So they have a strength of 6. Okay, so a 6 is a D/R. They rolled a 2, which means they passed. Let's see. Combat. Well, that's fire combat. Okay. So they're going to be disordered. And we have to roll for Maxwell. And we got a 1, which means Maxwell is wounded. Move that guy back there. All right. So now this unit here is going to fire. They're a 4. They're firing right there. I got a 1, no effect. Okay. So now we move to this unit here and here. So we've got strength of 7. Ooh, they rolled a 5. Strength of 7. 5 is a D/R. They rolled a 3. So they failed and they're going to rout. And so they have to route move. flip them over. So 1, 2, 3, and they're going to cause this Lafayette unit to be disordered. Okay, and then this unit here, because they were adjacent, they have to roll to see if they will be affected. Okay, they're safe. All right. Now this unit here can fire here. They've got a strength of 4. Firing at long range. They rolled a 3. No effect. Now we go to this unit who can fire here. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so long range, strength of 5. Oh, they rolled a 6. British. That's going to be a morale check. And they rolled a 4, so they're safe. They didn't affect them. Okay. So now this unit here can fire here. I can't fire at these guys. They're in his flank. Okay, they rolled a 6. It's going to be a morale check. They rolled a 1, so they passed. Okay, so now this unit here gets to fire into this unit here, into their flank. So that'll be infiled. So, and they've got a strength of 5. And they rolled a 5. Okay, strength of 5. So that's a D/R, and they rolled a 6, which is a fail, so they're going to rout. So they're going to route right through these guys. So 1, 2, 3, back to there. And now we have to roll for that unit right here because they were adjacent. The unit, it was right there, so I got to roll for this unit too. Both of these guys have to roll. Okay, we're going to go with this unit first. They rolled a 6, so let's see here. Oh no, they're just automatically disordered. I don't have to roll. Should have had, somebody should have been disordered. I guess it was that guy. Okay, and then, let's see. But that's not what I'm looking at. Okay. Okay. Well, maybe that's, I'm thinking of a different game. I was pretty sure that maybe I'm thinking of something else. I thought, I guess not. Okay. I don't have to. I guess they don't. It's only if they get, somebody routes through them or, yeah. All right, so that's caused a lot of issues for the Colonials. We're going to pull back and take a look. But, okay, so this unit here will be able to fire at this unit. Rolled a 4. He has a strength of 4. So, no effect. Okay. And that's going to be it. And, okay, we've got shock now. And the shock is right here. So we're going to have this unit's going to shock here, this unit's going to shock here. So we'll go with this. Shock first. Okay, so go with this one here. So they're disordered. And they've got a total strength of 8. Okay. Now they do get to fire. They do get to fire on this unit because this unit's shock attacking. So the top unit has a strength of 5. And they rolled a 3. And no effect. Okay, so now we go to the shock of the combat. Okay. So size-wise, we've got 6 against 8. So that's going to be 1 to 2. Or actually be, instead of it be 75%. That's what we're at. Now, the morale differential, they've got a 2, -2, so they're at 0. So it's going to be 6, a plus 6. All right. Oh, we rolled a 1. Okay. So the attacker takes 1 loss, and they have to check their morale. And they rolled a 3, and they're going to pass their morale, but they've taken a loss. So looks like I'll probably have to go. I'll have to start doing it like they want you to do it. I'll have to go back and change these others. I'll do that in a minute. Okay, and the defender is a DR, and they're already disordered. So they lose a strength point and retreat 3 hexes. Okay. Since they're disordered, they're going to disorder somebody here. I guess it's going to be this guy, because they're going to go 1, 2, 3. Like that. And they'd have to take a loss. So now they're at 4. And they caused that unit right there to disorder. And these guys can move in. What is this guy? No, wait a minute. This guy. Oh, wait a minute. No. These guys, this guy's with them. So this guy's got to go with them. So they would actually just move into this hex. These guys can just go right straight back through here. One, two, three, right here. Just like that. Okay. So they went right back through here. And that got moved up. And then this guy here is the next shock. So we've got 6 to 4. So that's 6 to 4. So that's 150%. And they have a morale of 1 now, and the attackers have a 6. So that's going to be a +5. Ooh, we got a 6. Okay, so that's going to be a rout by the defender with a 1 loss, but they're already disordered, so that means they're going to lose 2 strength points, and they're going to rout and retreat 3 hexes. So they lose 2 strength points, so they're now down to just 2. And they rout. Now, they've got to rout through this artillery. 1, 2, 3. Oh, they're routed. So this artillery unit is disordered, and they can move right there. Now, because they're moving up, okay, they're leaving this minimum fire zone of this artillery unit. So the artillery unit's going to be able to fire on them. This disordered artillery unit. So I rolled a 1. That's still going to be a no, it's not going to be. It's not going to be anything. Okay. So they just get to move up. All right, and that's it. So let's pull back so we can see the whole picture now. So what we have here, I think we got a more historical situation here with the including gray and these artillery units coming in right now instead of waiting another 4 turns. I don't know. I don't know exactly when gray showed up. To the fight. But I don't think Clinton would have made too much of a move without, well, Cornwallis without his full division. Especially without some artillery. Maybe they thought they could just do a cakewalk over them, maybe. So, once again, the colonial right is in trouble. We've got 1, 2, 3 units that are in the process of routing. And so they're going to have to move the leaders over to those routed units, which could, well, it's going to result in, well, one thing over here, Maxwell, he has a range of just 1 now, command range. So when he moves to maybe back here to help with a routed unit, his units are going to be out of command, which is going to limit what they are able to do. And the other thing is, with Gray coming in, the militia over here with Dickinson is they're going to fold. They only have a morale of 1. And even if they get into the woods, they're going to be in trouble. So, you know, that's what they're facing there. more likely the British are going to lose this unit back here. Erskine is going to be able to save this one gun here from destruction. Now this, let's see, those, they need to do something. The British need to get this cavalry unit unrouted, but so they can swing around and hit these disordered units pretty hard and the routed units pretty hard. The Colonials, just their morale is too low. You know, they've got 2s. The artillery has 4s, so you know you put an artillery on top, then you got a pretty good chance of standing your ground. You know, that artillery crew really is not worth much besides just 1 strength point in combat. Nothing else really. There's a 3 morale unit, but most of them are 2s, so they're gonna fold. Well, there's that 4 there. He's in column and needs to get back to line. I don't think there's actually a rule that says when you come out of being routed that you actually have to go to column. I'm just, you know, that's something that, you know, in order to reorganize, columns is the formation that they would use. I know it says that you can well, it doesn't really say a whole lot. Maybe I have to go over here to the other no. Yeah, there's not a whole lot that's said about the rally concerning facing and all of that. And if it is, maybe it's in a different location than what I'm looking at. So, you know, with the arrival of Gray, without Gray here, bringing in his brigade and these artillery units, the British were just outnumbered, like almost by 2,000 men. So that I don't think that was very historic. So mainly one thing was the artillery. They had one counter, which they had 2 guns, the 3-pounders. And yet they've got 12 6-pounders and 2 12-pounders. Where are they at? You know, they would have, if they're going to do a counterattack, they would have brought, you know, it would have to mean that all of the artillery was at the start of their march column, way at the front. It wouldn't have been at the front. It would have been close enough to go, you know, to move to the front, to move to the rear, to move, you know, where they were needed. So I'm just a little disappointed with the way that they had the scenario set up, and the time that the earliest you can start is, what is it, 10? 10:20. Yeah, like 10:20. That's the earliest you can start. So you can't do any of the historical initial contact that occurred between about 600 men and the some dragoons and light infantry around Monmouth. That took place about 8:30, somewhere in there, maybe even a little earlier. So that I had to scrap basically the way that the scenario for the Lee advances. I had to scrap that and set up the forces myself. And even their own historical commentary poked holes at their scenario setup. So it's like, well, did the designers of the scenario even look at the historical commentary they had in the magazine? I don't think so. I don't think they did. Well, the other thing is, we'll go down to the library and check out some books, because this is, I think, in 1980, I think, was the magazine. No internet. So just go down to the library and check out some books, or just read them while you're at the library. These guys had a huge library where they were at. They could have easily went down there and looked at some books on the American Revolution. They had enough to write the historical commentary, or I guess maybe that was written by someone else, someone that wasn't involved in the design of the game or the design of the scenario, maybe. But that's what you have to do sometimes. Sometimes with some of these games, you have to shake your head and I've refused to play some games because of things like this. That things that just don't make sense. And I could list multiple ones, and I could list game publishers, publishing companies that do this kind of stuff over and over and over. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to point out, if you get this, the game system, the mechanics and everything, I love that. Okay, I love the mechanics, the turn sequence, the game sequence, the combat. All of that, I think, is a great system for the American Revolution. I really do. It could easily be used in all of the other battles of the American Revolution. You have, Kings Mountain? You could use it with Kings Mountain. That has the British officer Ferguson, who had developed the Ferguson rifle, which was a breech-loading musket. Well, I guess it really was a rifle. I think it had rifle groove barrel. But you loaded it at the breech. I don't think he had any of those. He didn't have any of the Ferguson rifles with him at that battle. He gets killed at that battle, Kings Mountain. But that would be an interesting. It'd be a little small battle because, it didn't have a lot of forces involved. But So, I mean, there's that, and there's so many others that you could use because this system fits well with small engagements, small tactical engagements. And let's see, so 80, that's what's up. So we're looking at 45 years, I guess. 45 years ago. Wow. Is that right? 45? Yeah, 45 years ago. 45 years ago. I guess you'd have to wait a little bit longer for you to be able to take the system and begin doing something with it on your own. I guess you could modify it a little bit and call it your own. I really think the designers, maybe they're not still alive, could easily do, let's see, where's all their information at? Maybe I have to pull out the magazine to see that. I thought it was in here. Should be. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, so we take a look here. So we got to the creative credits. So we've got David G. Martin, Leonard Millman, Eric Lee Smith. This physical systems and graphics. And I don't know what physical systems has to do with. Is that the counters and everything? Redmond A. Simonson. He was also involved with the Ney vs. Wellington and Wellington's victory. Now, the game development itself, Eric Lee Smith. Rules, Rob Ryer. He did editing, though. So I guess it comes down to Martin, Millman. Of course, SPI was bought out by TRS or TSR. And I don't know, maybe Decision Games has rights to maybe some of this stuff. I don't know. But there's so many games out there that you can tell that they've borrowed ideas from one company and they're using it in their game. You know, I could name quite a few off that have borrowed things from Marshall Enterprises. And, you know, which Clash of Arms produced a lot of games that Marshall Enterprises started that system, Napoleonic system. But this is an easy, fast-playing system. And you know, I've got enough historical background that maybe I just need to jump in there and give GMT's great battles, or the not great battles of the American Revolution, a run for their money. I could do a more historical flavored map and historical flavored counters. I'm not too big on the counters like this that have just a picture of an image. You know, I'm more. I like the NATO symbol counters, but also like the Clash of Arms with the, looks like their uniform, what their top of the uniform, the jacket and all that looked like. and you have a lot of color on the counters. This is trying to kind of drab. And if you want to like attract like a larger audience, you have to have kind of fancy looking, really high tech counters. And the system is really good, and the map, that's also something else. The map has got to be, you got to have a cool looking map, and it's got to be easy to read and to tell what's what, and with elevation changes and all of that. So, and the rules, you really have to have a clear cut rule book and not be like decision games. I don't buy their stuff unless I'm buying it to resell it. The rules are too hard to follow, and a lot of times there's too much errata to deal with, and there's a lot of errata here that no one has written about or shared with this magazine game. But I don't know, for some reason I was thinking that there was more of these of this system published in some other magazines, other magazines by SPI, or even TRS or TSR, whichever it was that took over, bought out SPI or took them over, whatever happened there. So, but these counters, there's an issue with the counters. For one thing, is it's hard to tell whether that's the unit is column, and that's column, and that this is line, and you just got that small little white at the bottom that's telling you that they're lined, and it's because the way that they were cut or printed on the counter sheet. You know, you need something other than just that on the bottom. And, you know, back then, I guess they were working, you know, it was a magazine game, so they were working cheap to get it published cheap and so forth. But, you know, this is a wonderful magazine game. You know, I've come across a lot of magazine games that are not very good, and the counters are not good. The game itself is just, it's not fun. It's, you know, it's too beer and pretzel style. And this is not. This has got chrome, a lot of chrome. So, okay, so that's the end of turn 4, which is the 1120 turn. And then so the next video we're going to have the 1140, and this is when the actual scenario in the magazine was supposed to start at 1140, and that's too late. Way too late. You can't have this battle starting at 1140. Lee's advance, because there's already units that are starting to retreat by the time you get to 1140, or at least getting hammered so that they're falling back, or you know, there's already fighting going on by 1140, and in the scenario you're still moving your troops to position. So, but I've already went through all of that in earlier videos. So, but it just bothers me. It bothers me when you have a historical game and they get the historical part wrong. That, or they try to cut corners by not giving you the counters you need, even combining some of the forces on one side while not doing it on the other side, so that you give too much of an advantage to one side over the other, that wasn't there historically. And, you know, there's several things that will happen. If I don't like if there's not a lot that I like about it, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm not going to play it. If it's not an easy fix. And so what I'll have to do with this is I'm going to have to write up the corrections to the scenario and put it with this game so that when I come back to this, I'll already have it all planned out how, you know, the scenario should go. And even I'd started even earlier than 10:20, I guess it is 10:20. You know, I'd started at like 8 o'clock. You know, or even earlier than that, 7 o'clock. You started at 7 o'clock. You can back the forces up back to where they were at to start with. You know, and you can start the British in where they had camped near Monmouth and start them, you know, on their march. You know, I think they started around 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And they started moving units out. So, but it's not just this scenario, it's the whole battle. Because they've got, you know, even if you look at the grand battle scenario, you can't start till 10:20. But it goes all the way through turn 28, which, you know, you're going to have Washington come in with the rest of the colonial army, Sterling, and you might even have Daniel Morgan in here. I don't know if he's in here or not. Included. Because, and Sullivan, Huntington, who else? Green. You got Green. There's Washington. I don't think Morgan is included because, of course, his forces weren't even there. They're off, I think, down to the south. So anyways, I'll have to start developing a game similar to this because no one else has and no one else is, apparently. Maybe it's just not that big of a draw, but I mean, if you have a really neat system with unique maps and counters and so forth, you can pull people in and, you know, but you have to make it work and you have to make it historical. You know, you could do the Battle of Concord, the Battle of Lexington. So, I mean, there's, you know, you've got so many that you could do. I'll have to look into that. All right, so that's the end of that turn. We're going on to the next turn in the next video before we move back over to the GMT. And again, this is, it was thought for a long time that this flag was colors that belonged to, was it Montcalm? see here. I don't think he was. Yeah, I don't think he was. I don't see him on in here. I guess maybe it was taken earlier, maybe. No, there it is. Malton. Henry Malton. Part of the British Grenadiers. And I guess the argument was that there's no numerical identification of the regiment. If this is a regimental flag, then they would have had the regimental symbol. They would not have had this. Okay. The British didn't do this where they placed the Union Jack up in a corner like that. I guess in the Army now they would have, like, I think the Navy, you would have like a white field here, and then this could be up in the corner maybe, but maybe that was at a later time. But for a long time they thought, I guess some people had the flag pass through their family, and the family had thought it was had been captured by the colonials. And then later on, when I guess they gave it to a museum or something, it was like, hey, this is a regimental flag for the colonials. It was a part of the Pennsylvania's one of the Pennsylvania regiments. So, just a little background there. Maybe you interested in flags, you can research and find out what that's about. So, all right. Next video we'll pick up right here, and so we'll have one more turn, and then we'll jump back over to GMT and see what's happening over there.